Man. Well, we are in the Yukon, folks. No longer in British Columbia or Alberta. We got Alaska on the horizon, just burning up asphalt. How many miles, Amber, have we been on the Alaska Highway now, you think? About.
500 miles.
You think only 500 miles? We still have 1,700 miles to go?
You said on the Alaska Highway?
Yeah, I thought it was like 16 or 1,800 miles on the Alaska Highway. You don't know? I guess you could do Dawson Creek to Whitehorse. See how many miles that is. We're not quite to Whitehorse, but we're getting pretty close. We didn't stream yesterday because it rained for 12 hours straight. We had hail, we had slush on the ground in the mountains, and just rain and rain and rain. It was kind of the yin and yang. We're driving through forests that are completely burnt from forest fires, and it's raining like we're in Texas. It's crazy. But we ended up, we stopped in Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie, British Columbia is a pretty interesting city. And the Alaskan Highway is, for those of y'all from Texas or Ohio or Michigan, it's like a farm road, like a blacktop farm road. It's very rough, but it's not like washboard dirt road. It's far more civilized than that. But that's the jitter you're getting in the camera, which is unfortunate. I got y'all on the monopod today, but the scenery as we come into these mountains is pretty epic. But the road is like, it's like washboard asphalt almost.
So like almost 700 miles we've been on this.
So 700 miles?
Well, I mean, it's more in there too. Yeah, so 500.
Well, that's today.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we did 584 miles today.
Yeah, so
But-
how many of those have been on this? It's less
Well,
than
we
that.
got to the Alaska Highway yesterday.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, we drove all till 2 o'clock in the morning
so I
on.
think from Dawson Creek to we just went.
Yeah, Starlink is kind of in and out, so I apologize for that. So 700 plus or minus miles on the Alaska Highway. I will tell you, it's very interesting once you come out of the Canadian Rockies and before you get into the Northern Rockies. It's like, it's like farmland and ag land, and we stopped in Grand Prairie, and Grand Prairie is like a little American town. Like there's not even a little American town, like a suburban American town without all the suburbs. It's like there was a Costco there and a Walmart and Burger King and McDonald's and a Staples. Ooh, you should show them our carts. We had some, because people keep asking about, our channel and stuff. And it's like, it's kind of long and drawn out to say, oh, it's ad litem vita. And then they're like, what is that? And we're like, it's Latin. It means live life unscripted and on YouTube. So anyway, so we had some business cards made up with all the, I can't see it if you hold it like that. There you go. Better, I guess, but it's still kind of dark. No, it's just really dark. There we go, that's better. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so we had some business cards made up on at Staples, and That way we can at least just say, here, take a picture of this, or hand them one or whatever. So Amber's upset because she put our home address on it. She thinks it shouldn't be on there, and I was like, I don't care. We're gonna sell that house anyway. So everybody can know where we live.
That was a rookie mistake.
Yeah, very much.
So anyway, coming out of the Canadian Rockies, it's beautiful, by the way. That's the Jasper run that we did for like 2 hours, and then another probably 3 hours of driving to get out of all of that. Of course, on the stream yesterday, we saw one bear, right? But we didn't see any of the animals. After the stream, we saw like a herd of goats, a bull elk, and did we see bison yesterday?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, yeah. Oh no, we saw another bear, right? We saw 2 bears yesterday. Anyway, today we've seen 5 black bears, no brown bears. We saw a group of 3 bison on the side of the road, and then a group of 4 bison on the side of the road, like about an hour apart. And then like 2 hours from that, we saw a herd of bison, about 40, and they were all up in the road. And they were cute. They had like, it was a whole herd. So you had some calves, and they were nursing. You had some big bulls, and they were laying down, just kind of hanging out. And nobody was laying down in the road, but they could have if they wanted to. But they were like freely just crossing the road whenever they wanted to, So I need to go down. Okay, that's fine. A little more. That's good right there. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I have you all on a monopod, but if I put you all on the floor of the van, you get all the jiggles. If I hold the monopod up, then my wrist is going to get tired. But it's actually more stable because of the counterweight. So, pick your poison, right? So, I'll hold y'all for a little while, and then I'll put y'all down, and I'll hold y'all again. But coming out of the Rockies, it's like agricultural land. It's almost like Ohio, or even some parts of Texas, or I don't know. It's just very average. It's very pretty, but it's very average. We've seen parts of Montana like that, parts of Colorado like that. It's just a very average American feel. And ironically, that town is a very average American feel. Like, it has all the normal average American stuff in it. Like, Sport Clips was there, and what else? What else did you see? There was a Chili's there. I don't know. Anyway, so it was ag and oil. That part of British Columbia, Alberta area was ag and oil. And then there was a lot of oil. Oh my gosh, there was so many oil. There was like refineries, it looked like, or maybe there were, I don't know what they were. They kind of looked like refineries of some sort. And some pipeline station. In Alberta, we saw, not 0 18-wheelers, but like compared to America, it was like, for every 1 18-wheeler we saw in Alberta, we would have seen 300 in America, right? And so it seems like Alberta uses the rail system, because we'd see rail cars, trains go by with just stacks of like 18-wheeler containers on the back of them. Just a whole train, nothing but containers. And hardly any 18-wheelers on the road. But as soon as you get into BC, we haven't seen a railroad since we've been here. I'm sure it's there here somewhere, but it's not by the road, so you can't see it. And with all the oil stuff, you have your mud trucks and your oil service vehicles and your 18-wheelers that are transferring the crude oil or natural gas or whatever. So there's quite a few more. it's not as much as you see in the United States, but But it was an interesting thing that like you just didn't see 18-wheelers in Alberta. They just weren't there. I mean, there were a few, but not like what we've all grown accustomed to. So.
We did see a moose today.
Oh yeah, we did see a moose standing on the side of the road. That was kind of cool. What else? Oh, golly, so much of BC is burned. It is ridiculous how much like burned forest we saw. It's just unreal. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand how there's forests at all if that much forest is going to get burned that often. So, it's pretty shocking, actually. So we're headed to White Horse. I'm sorry, we're not headed to the White House. That's way the other way. Last night it got dark about midnight. Sun went down about 10:30, but it didn't really get dark. Like, headlights were on, but we would have driven farther, but the lines in the road down here were not there. And it was raining, misty rain at that point. And it just was kind of dangerous coming out of the mountains. And it was really hard to, because I struggle when oncoming traffic's coming in, even with their low beams on. I generally like focus on the white line, just so I'm not staring at their headlights, because I feel like a deer in their headlights, but it's very beautiful. I will say that other than the mountain, I mean, it's a lot like Colorado, although, what was the name? Was it
Muncho Lake?
Muncho Lake. I will tell y'all, so we did see Lake Louise, and Lake Louise is fabulous. We didn't get up to Lake Moraine, and I've heard that is just awesome. We also saw Emerald Lake. Anyway, those are the way to go. But if you want to get away from the crowds, and you can afford to do so with time and money and whatever else, dude, drive from Banff to Jasper. Drive from Jasper about 3 hours north, and you'll see all the turquoise water you ever want to see. We passed, what was it, Muncho Lake?
M-U-N-C-H-O.
M-U-N-C-H-O. This lake was like, it really looked like an ocean bay.
And it was big.
It was huge, right? It kind of felt Alaska-ish, because the mountains just kind of went into the lake. So the lake's like 1,000 feet deep, it seems like, because the mountains just, there's no ledge, there's no, they literally carved the mountain out to get the road in. So there is a ledge where you're driving, but it's only because they blasted it all out with dynamite. And but that lake was more turquoise emerald color than any of the other lakes we saw. And this thing was like 20 miles long. It was just this, and you're driving right beside it the entire way. It was like this endless beauty. It was hard to even watch the road. You're just looking at the lake, and you're like, oh, I'm almost in the lake. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Alright, sorry about that. Again, Starlink is on the struggle bus. I guess we're so far north, they don't have a whole lot of satellites here, or they don't have a lot of satellites here right now. So every time we turn, or when we go behind a mountain or whatever, we
might lose you on this turn, essentially.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But let's see, what else do we have to tell y'all? Rivers the whole way. I mean, like, it was kind of interesting. There's a couple times where, and for the first time in the trip, like, generally speaking, the rivers have been flowing with us. Like, the direction we're going is the way the river's going. and we had two rivers that that were running beside us, but they were running the other way. So that was a little different. A lot of mix. Some of them were like mountain snowmelt rivers, so they were like, because of all the rain, they were real muddy and so on and so forth. But even with all the rain, some of them were like mountain spring rivers, and they were still just crystal clear, like crystal clear. It was amazing. It's been raining for 3 days straight, and not a drop of mud in the river at all. And then some of them were glacier fed, and so you have that milky, creamy, turquoise, green, emerald color. So you never knew what was around the next bend. It's like that huge emerald lake, and then you go around up over that mountain, and like 10 minutes later you're coming down into another valley, and it's a huge, just regular water lake, you know. Then you go up over that mountain, you come into another valley, and it's a brown, looks like the Mississippi River. It was pretty crazy. The rivers are huge. Like in Texas, I mean, we have some big rivers, right? But like every river here is that big generally. Like they're all, like the Laird River is like Big Bend. It's not as big as the Mississippi by any means, but like, or not Big Bend. It's like the Colorado or the Trinity River or the Red River, probably bigger than each one of those. And it's just another river that's here. And I don't know, what was the other one? It was the Alabaster or Athabascan River? Athabascan? I'm just learning English, bear with me. Actually, I'm learning native Canadian. Hey, so I'm sorry. Yeah. But that river was really cool. That whole basin, that was further south in the Jasper area, or even southern of that. But totally cool. We walked around Jasper yesterday morning, and the devastation there is just unreal. It's like, it's 2 years old. They're still rebuilding, and like, it's really interesting to me, their priorities. So they prioritized home instead of like supplies. Like, I feel like in the States, the first thing that you would have seen is you would have seen like a Home Depot and a Builder's Square and you know, or Lowe's or Ace Hardware. You know, these companies would have moved in, and a lot of the homes and a lot of the people's businesses and stuff were just out of shipping containers. They had like industrial areas where they just dropped 50 shipping containers, and all the businesses that burned down all lived in these shipping containers. And it was really neat. There's some graffiti artists in the area, or just artists that ended up doing graffiti. And so these shipping containers all had these like beautiful murals on them, like sea turtles or you know, like fire scenes from the forest fire or whatever. So that was really cool. But like the supplies were just, I mean, they're obviously getting supplies from somewhere, because they built like probably, how many would you say, 40 or 50 homes have been rebuilt, and there's probably 30 or 40 homes being built right now, and businesses and so on. The front street of businesses is nearly complete, other than the ones that were completely lost. And then everything behind it, about a thin ridge. Maybe the size of Winter Park. I hadn't been there in like 10 years, so I'm sure those have gotten bigger. So, but what I remember Breckenridge and Winter Park being 10 years ago, I think Vail, if I'm remembering correctly, I think Vail would be probably bigger than Jasper. But Jasper has the same feel to me don't know. Jasper has the feel to me of like Breckenridge. More community, more like not quite Vail, Colorado. I feel like Banff is more like Vail, Colorado, or maybe Jasper's more Estes Park even. Like, but anyway, beautiful scenery. The mosquitoes were unbearable. They weren't that bad. I mean, I'm just saying that they were that bad, but they weren't that bad. They could have been worse, but it was interesting because the weather's so wonderful. You know, all the stores had their doors open, and so like you can't even duck into the stores to get away from the mosquitoes. And I'm allergic to peat right now for some weird reason, so I'm relying on like lemongrass and citronella oils, young living essential oils, and lavender even helps a little. But and then I take a lot of, was it B12? Yeah, and B12 actually changes your scent or something, I guess, and it makes the mosquitoes not like you as much, I guess. But right now, it's like all of a sudden in the last few years, like if I spray DEET on my arms, they literally look like they're sunburned almost immediately. It's crazy. Never really liked this stuff anyway, but so let's see what else. We're excited. We're like 11 hours from our destination in Alaska. 8 hours from Alaska. So probably not tonight, my guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If I'm sure the sun's going to even set later because we're 400 miles further north. So maybe if the sun doesn't set till 2 a.m. I've been known to drive until 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning. So we might make it. We might make it there this evening, or to Alaska, not to Wrangell St. Elias or Ellis, however you say it. But that's our destination. Once we get there, we're going to explore that park, and we're going to do it our style. Everything else has been kind of transit, so we're going to settle in for a week or two and fish and explore. Oh, we're back. Alrighty. Yeah, we're going to be away from the coast because there's only 2 roads in Wrangell St. Is it Elias or Ellis?
I say Elias. It's Elias.
Elias. Okay. One's kind of coming from the Alaska side. There's a Alaska National Park that it's kind of like Glacier and Waterton.
I think that's actually, I don't know that it's in Alaska. I think it might be Canada. Are you talking about the Kuwait?
Well, there's Canadian Kuwait National Park, and it touches Wrangell St. Ellis National Park in Alaska.
Yeah.
So we're going to be driving right beside that, so we might duck into that first. And again, that'll be kind of a transit adventure. I think we're all ready to be in Alaska because we're fishermen, and where? The clouds?
The trees.
Maybe move that wire so it's not in front of it.
This red main construction.
Yeah, that's just the car. Everything else is fine. All those white dots are good satellites.
Maybe because it's dusty. It says that.
All right, we're back. We're trying to figure out the Starlink. But see, every white dot on there, that's a satellite that's good. The only obstructions that you have are just at the very top. We have that every time. So, I don't know. It is what it is. We apologize. Oh, look at this. Let me see if I can zoom you over here and not hit this semi-truck. Y'all see those mountains in the background? my gosh. And the Alpine Lake or the Valley Lake right there. Be better if I kept you all on target. Here we go. I was looking at the mountains, sorry. Don't mind all the bugs. We're just doing our part to kill the mosquito population in the Yukon. So I guess after the Rockies, there was the Kootenai Mountains that we're coming up on, and then we were just in 2 other mountain chains.
So they call it, this is here. There's several mountain ranges here. Okay, so we're going to be going into the St. Elias Mountains, which the highest peak is Mount Logan, by the way, in that mountain range. Then there's the Kluane Ranges, which run parallel to the Alaska Highway. And then the Hele Mountains were the ones that were, at some point you see like we had one set of mountain ranges on our right and another set on our left. And I'm trying to remember which one was which.
I don't know. They're all beautiful to me. I don't understand. Okay, some weird shadow on the bottom. Depending on how I focus, y'all. I get like this weird shadow at the bottom of the screen. I don't know how to fix that. Almost like the lens of the camera is having problems with. Right now, the camera's having problems staying on the road. So yeah, we'll be fishing red salmon and rainbow trout, American grayling, maybe king salmon. We'll really start fishing for silver salmon in August. So all the other will be, I love red salmon, but I would really like to catch the steelhead and the silvers. And hopefully by August we'll have some funding to do some excursions, like fishing trips and whatnot, and we'll maybe have a Starling Mini that we can take y'all with us. That's the idea. If that happens, then we'll go catch some halibut, some rockfish. I can't remember the other ones. There's lingcod and silver salmon, sea run silvers. We'll try to do all that stuff, and we'll try to take y'all with us, which will be fun. Yeah, it's weird. You see this shadow on the bottom? Like the whole bottom of the screen is all shadow.
I'm not on the camera.
Oh, not there? Okay. Oh. I think it's because we're way the hell up here. That's what I think. But the road's not it's not terribly rough, but we're in a 1-ton vehicle, right? So the suspension's already pretty stiff, and everything. I mean, it's just shit's falling. I don't know. We've lost the frying pan more than once. Pretty sure Amber, like from the bed, almost hit the ceiling one time last night. I will say that if you see a sign that says bump, that's like a normal road sign, no big deal. It's just a bump, right? If you see a sign that's like a construction sign that says bump, slow your ass down immediately, because yesterday at about 12:30 at night, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning.
It was more like blood.
Yeah, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Jude and I are awake. Amber's resting. And I'm driving, and it's dark. There's no lines on the road. It's raining, just misty rain. And there's this cute little, like, you know the type, the construction sign that leans on 3 legs. And here they have, it says bump, but it has it looks like a mountain almost. It's like 3 little humps, right? And you're like, oh, there's a bump. Oh, they literally set the bump sign on the bump, which was about 200 yards. The road had washed out previously, and they came back in with dirt, maybe some dirt gravel mix or road bed or whatever, not blacktop. And so I'm driving on blacktop, see the sign bump. Next thing I know, I'm in like 200 yards of nothing but potholes. Like, there's nowhere to go. Like, you're running 60 miles an hour, you see bump, you take your foot off the gas pedal, and then it's like Amber hits her head on the ceiling as she's flying through the air, awoken from her slumber.
Not quite so dramatic, but I was very much like, what the heck's going on?
See, it's like this guy.
It does.
It was just that little sign, and then it was like bump, 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 bump. And I thought for sure, yeah, there it is. There's the sign. See, you slow down when you see these guys. This sign right here, you slow down. Now here, it doesn't look like it's that big a deal. But sometimes, oh yeah, no, that would have sucked. At 60, that would have been bad. So, yeah, things like that. Asked and answered, it showed up, you're welcome. I was very thankful to have upper and lower ball joints and not at least one tire blown out, because these weren't little potholes. I'm telling you, these were potholes. And there was no avoiding them. There was, in 200 yards, there was 700 of them. It was ridiculous. So, but, let's see. Any questions over there? No? Nobody chitter-chattering it up?
Okay.
Yeah. So every time we turn right and we look further north, right now we're headed pretty west. I just don't feel like Starlink has a whole lot of satellites that direction. So, but up until now, we haven't had any problems with Starlink. It's been like, this is the first time we've had any sort of connectivity issues. As far as our phone service goes, we run Straight Talk, basically because it's cheap. I think I have an unlimited plan, and Amber has mostly unlimited plan, and it's like $120 a month.
Yeah, it's like $90 a month.
$90 a month for the 2 of ours.
Yeah.
And honestly, the phone service is crap, but we're on Wi-Fi calling 95% of the time, so we don't really worry about it, because it's actually cheaper
For both of us, it's like 90.
than Google Fi, which is just Wi-Fi calling, and you get all the other stuff too. So that's kind of the way we work, and we've been on Straight Talk for a long time. The other thing nice about Straight Talk is if you have multiple phones, you can switch towers. So like if you're going to an area that's a predominantly AT&T area and no Verizon, then you can switch.
You just turn off your phone and turn it back on, and it'll find the news tower.
If you have a dual SIM phone like we do, but if you don't have that, then you just turn that phone off, switch your SIM to another phone, turn it on, and your phone number is active on the AT&T network instead of the Verizon network or the T-Mobile network and stuff. So you can kind of bounce your carriers if you want to. For us, we're pretty much always with the Starlink or at home. So we just use Wi-Fi calling 90% of the time. Anyway.
So I think we went through BC. Now we're back in the Yukon, right?
Yeah, so the way this works is you come out of Alberta and you go into BC, and you're in BC for a long time. It's kind of the northern part of BC. It's really pretty. There's a lot of ag up there and a lot of oil and a little bit of mountains. It looks different than everything else that we've driven through in Canada, as far as in this area of Canada. And then you get into the Yukon, but you're only in the Yukon for like 10 miles, and then you're back into BC for about 10 miles, and then you're back into the Yukon, and you kind of run the southwestern, like south and west in the Yukon. So like right now we're going mostly west. Prior to right now, we've been going mostly north and a little west, or north by more northwest, I guess. But it's been pretty cool. It's very interesting to me, and it's the same in the United States. You know, if you go state to state, how much the people change. Well, I'm not even gonna say. I'm gonna tell you what the locals told me. The locals say that Alberta is more industrialist, you know, enterprising and industrial type people. Enterprising and industrial type people. In BC, you're gonna get some service and not, because we have Amber doesn't like it at all. But interesting fact, we've been on the entire road was built by the U.S. Army and the Canadian, I don't know if it was the Army or whatever, but Army engineers and Canada people, or Army, for World War II, because we needed a road to get to Alaska, to defend Alaska, right? And the entire road was built in 8 months, all of it. From Dawson Creek to Fairbanks, 8 months. Ridiculous. So 30,000 U.S. soldiers and about 10,000 Canadians. And basically, my understanding is the bulldozer, they had like just battalions of bulldozers, and the bulldozers had on the back of them like graders, like trailers that were like graders, like levelers or whatever. And so they were like bulldozing and leveling at the same time. And it's like, as the battalion, you know, the first battalion would go through and clear the trees, but they never turn around. They just keep driving, right? And so you have all the surveyors and the engineers on the ground laying everything out, and the bulldozers just creeping along at like 3 miles an hour, never stopping, you know. And when they ran out of gas, they'd just pull over to the side, and the tanker trucks would fill them back up, and then they'd fall back into formation and do whatever job it was that part of the formation was doing. And it was just kind of almost like whenever, you know, the British used to fight wars, and they would, you know, whenever they were reloading, they'd just get out of the way in the next line up, you know. And evidently it was pretty grueling. I mean, the weather was a few accidents, but not, most of it was sickness and exposure type stuff. So pretty interesting read, if you ever read it. It's just remarkable. We've been on this road for almost 18 hours now, and the idea that it didn't exist and it existed in 8 months, it sounded like it wasn't like it is now today, right? It sounded like it was gravel. We actually met somebody. When did he say? 1972?
78.
78.
Yeah.
78, yeah. So we met somebody at St. Mary's Visitor Center at Glacier National Park on this trip. And he traveled the Alaska Highway. He was in the Army. He traveled the Alaska Highway in 1978 to get to whatever Army base he needed to get to in Alaska. And he was telling us, he's like, yeah, I left out in December. And I was like, in December? He's like, why? I was like, why would you do that? He's like, yeah, because if you didn't, it was so washboard that you'd end up destroying your car before you ever got anywhere. And the snow and ice pack on the road made the road smooth and passable. He's like, although, did he say Dawson Creek? Somewhere out here, you know, he stopped for the night. He got up the next morning and his car was frozen. Like he couldn't get in it. He couldn't start it. He couldn't do anything. So they literally had to build a fire underneath the car to thaw the car out so he could get back in the car so he could drive on. So it's crazy. But like some of the people, like, not that they're crazy, but the idea of the grandeur of what they're doing is nuts. I'm probably gonna lose y'all. Just turned again. We'll see how that goes.
I just loaded back in too.
Did you lost it?
No.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't lose it either. But like, we passed one guy, had a backpack on his back, just walking on the side of the road in the middle of the rain, no thumb out, not looking for a ride, to Alaska. That's what he was doing, right? I don't know how many motorcyclists. We met a guy today. We met a guy 1,000 miles from New York. So he was pretty cool. We met him at the place. The fuel was like $2.89 a liter. Yeah, do the math. It was like $8 a gallon. It was crazy. Oh yeah, happy Canada Day to everybody. And hopefully we'll be able to celebrate the 4th of July with y'all in Alaska here in a day or so. We kind of expected some pretty big celebrations. And I know Jasper was setting up for a really big celebration, but we haven't really seen any big celebrations yet. But most things are closed, so that's one noticeable thing. Let's see, so you had the motorcycles, and then you had the bicyclists that, you know, are obviously doing whatever else. But then, to top it all off, about 8 p.m. last night, we're rolling down the highway, and this black car comes by us at about 120 miles an hour. And as it's going by, I couldn't really catch a full glimpse of it, but it was like, I don't know what it was. It looked like an older Mitsubishi Eclipse style car. Almost a rally car, but not really a rally car, right? And on the side of it, it said Pan Am Race. And that's all I made out. And it had a bunch of stickers on it, kind of like a race car, right? And so after he blows by us, I'm telling you, he had to have been doing 105 to 110 miles an hour. And we're doing 60, so like double our speed. Black car, and just gone, right? And then it dawns on me, I'm like, oh, they must be doing a Pan American Highway race. Like, that dude started in in like Brazil or Argentina or Chile, like way down south, and has ran the Pan American 16,000 miles on the Pan American Highway all the way up to here, and they're trying to finish out the race. Through the night, 3 more cars passed us, and those cars were unmarked, but they all were, I mean, black, which I found interesting. So I wonder if part of the secret to that race is running a black car so you can run at night and just scream. But like, they were flying. All three of them, they were just gone. And they were all kind of the same small, it's like not a sports car, but not a rally car. Like something in between. And so that was pretty neat. I didn't know that existed. I want to do some research on that for when I write the captain's log on it. I'm gonna be behind on the captain's log for a day or two. I'm keeping my notes, but we're basically just driving until I can't drive anymore. So it's hard for me to write. Most of the time after the day and dinner and whatever else, I'll spend 2 or 3 hours after Amber and Jude go to bed, and that's when I'll write. Oh, here we go. Here's a bicyclist right here. This guy, let's see. Yeah, that one looks just more like a local. The ones that are doing the cross country, man, they have like luggage bags all over it. Like they have saddle bags in the back and on the front, sometimes on the handlebars. It's crazy to think. Like, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I've hiked parts of the Appalachian Trail and parts of what's the one in the Sierras? I can't remember now. Nothing major, 10, 15, 20 miles, not like hundreds of miles, but I can't remember the one in the Sierras now. But I really like the one in the Sierras more than the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, the Pacific
Yeah, Pacific
Crest or Coast Trail?
Pacific Coast Trail. Yeah. It just seemed more my style. The one thing that I found interesting, because I did research it, I was like, well, maybe I'll do that. Oh, look at this. Let's see if y'all can see. Oh, how about them trees? I like those trees. They look pretty good. They're going to be like your veil. Hopefully, about now. Boom. It's only going to get better. So the Pacific Coast Trail, you have to get on it early, and most people start in Mexico or right around the Mexican. There's a little bunny rabbit. Little bunny rabbit. Start in Mexico because in order to get it all done, you have to start where there's no snow. But you still run into some snow in the mountains. Guessing maybe like Joshua Tree or Sequoia area or somewhere south of that. So a lot of times they have to take in like ice spikes and ice hooks and do some like mountaineering stuff, which is I've never really been that interested in climbing mountains like that or that. I don't know. I just don't get the adrenaline rush from that. Although at Yosemite, I can attest that Jordan and myself, JJ, my oldest son, we climbed to, how high, Amber?
I don't know.
Too damn high?
Yosemite,
Yeah. So we climbed we free climbed El Capitan, and I say free climb. We basically, in the the walk up to El Capitan, we kind of boulder climbed, and then we got on this ledge, and I was like, oh, we can get on that ledge, and then we can get on that ledge. And so from our perspective, we were about maybe 100 feet in the air, maybe 75 feet in the air, not very high. And it was almost like boulder hopping. It wasn't really like mountain climbing. But we kind of ran out of options, and where we were at, we were kind of going towards a corner. And we went around that corner, and we were like 800 feet in the air, it seemed like. It was probably like 250, 300 feet, but like we were up there, and it was El Capitan, and it was sheer cliff straight down. And I looked at my 10-year-old son and said, yeah, no, we're turning around. And then, we're good. We've done enough. So in some degree, I attempted to climb out El Capitan. I can say that. and be telling the truth, I guess. If you've never been to Yosemite, Yosemite's a great park. The downside is there's a lot of people. So you got to really plan your early or late or really get into the backcountry in Yosemite. That's what a lot of people don't understand about Yosemite is the road, because I think there's only one major road with a couple of offspurs, is very, 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 very congested and populated. And you got Horsetail Falls and Bridal Veil Falls and like all those major and Panorama View and Half Dome and El Capitan, like all those are like just teeming with people, right? But like 65% of Yosemite is all backcountry. So if you just go to the road, you've only seen maybe 10 to 15% of Yosemite. And then if you do some of the longer hikes from the road, maybe you get to like 25% of Yosemite. But if you really want to see Yosemite, you gotta strap on a pack and walk like 15, 20 miles into Yosemite. And evidently, there's like whole communities of people that almost live there. They just kind of go from meadow to meadow, you know, and some of them are not doing very good things, and some of them are doing very meditative things. But we spoke to a ranger about it when we were there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, there's, you know, they're like, we have them marked on maps. There's like a village of like 30 people, and they can only stay in certain places for so long. So then they have to pick up and pack and move. But it's like they live in the park. They don't ever leave really, which is pretty awesome. As long as they're not living in the park, so they can grow drugs and sell them on the street, I guess." Is that 59 minutes, Amber?
Yeah.
Alright. We said we were going to do 45 to an hour today. So that's kind of where we're at. We're going to... Yeah. We're going to cut it here pretty shortly. Again, if you have never visited our Facebook, Ad Libitum Vita on Facebook or X or Instagram. Every social has something different. Instagram's like short videos and pictures. Facebook is like a book, some short videos, but mostly like a narrative book, captain's log, diary. So if you like that sort of thing, sometimes it's pretty short, and sometimes it's really long. And then on X, we kind of do all the goofier stuff. We're still trying to get that going. We don't have a lot of content over there, but there'll be some content coming in the days to come. And what else? If I missed anything? Oh, we're kind of kicking around the idea of a Patreon, but I don't know. We'll do a lot. If we do that, it'll be a lot more of the technical stuff, the, you know, how to build the van, how to set up your finances for it, the idea and the structure of being able to do this kind of thing and survive it financially. You know, those kinds of things will be all in the Patreon side of things. But we had it set up, but I didn't really like it, so we're going to reset it up and go from there. But tonight, shooting for Whitehorse. We might stay there, do one last resupply before we go into Alaska, and then maybe the next time y'all see us, we'll be in Alaska. Hope y'all are all doing well, and I hope life is treating you great, and I hope someday to see y'all out here on an adventure. Until then, until tomorrow, I'm James.
Bye, Jude and Amber. I really see what's looking.
That's Amber and Jude, and we hope y'all have a wonderful day tomorrow, and we'll see you then.